Oh, man.
Yeah.
So comfortable here.
Very comfortable.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Winner's Lounge.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Eric's too stressed to enjoy this winning streak.
I'm not that I'm so stressed. It's just that did we just watch a basketball game? What was that?
I can't believe you didn't enjoy. I'm telling you, you have become the Eric. You're a smug Eric now.
You're no
because
fun anymore, man.
I'm saying, like, you used to just enjoy every little win. Jokic threw these like passes that bent space.
You know what the worst part is that when people tell me about the show, they tell me I'm the only fun one. So I don't know what that says about you losers.
People say things like that about you, not me.
Yes. So it's time to look inward.
They say the same thing about me. Wow, this is all we
no,
all
they do not.
only hear our positive feedback. I got the squad with me here. I got Harrison Wind.
I got a lot of notes on this game, actually.
Oh, really?
A lot. Yeah,
Wow.
my notebook's plush with notes.
Wow, so plush over here. You got Grouchy D-Line.
I'm not grouchy. You know what? I'm gonna talking strike.
Talking strike. That would be fun to see if you could do the show.
I could
without saying we're just
Easy.
kind of
Just giggles the entire time.
Yeah. All right, and then over here I got Superstar Dev.
I mean, like, just looking at that game, there were just so many players that I did not know existed on the game. Like, really, like, if we go through that starting lineup, can you guys just think about, like, who that starting lineup was?
CJ,
Eubanks.
Dame, Nurkic, right?
Yeah, Nurkic.
No,
yeah, he
it was
there.
a different CJ tonight.
Yeah, LOB. Dev had the greatest line. I'm going to steal it since he didn't say. He said that was a team with no millionaires. It's kind of true, man. It was like all Davon Reeds. Just a bunch of guys on 2 ways in 10 days. Yeah. My God, it's funny because when the line came out, it was 8.5. And I remember looking at that and being like, second night of a back-to-back, 8.5? That team is like, this team is horrible, man. They had just won a couple games, too. That's why I was, because I thought they were terrible. Then I'm like, well, you know, it's an NBA team.
Dude,
I was wrong. It was not an NBA team.
They rattled off 4 impressive wins, 2 very impressive wins right before the All-Star break. But it turns out everybody they beat just wanted to be in the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's true. It makes a lot of sense. Hey, man, proud of these Nugs coming out of this and getting a couple wins, keeping the streak alive, and now up to the longest of the season. 6 games, no sign of stopping. This one is actually, it's funny, it's such a dominant to Eric. I'm kind of ribbing Eric here about being low energy, but it is true. Like, this was a dominant, hype game, but we're getting so much of these great bench performances that it's almost becoming mundane now. Like, this was a routine butt whooping, but I think that's a good thing. Should we do the rundown? Did you have the graphic? Do we have the graphic?
Oh, I sent it to Kale. I don't know if you probably did.
I sent it to you specifically. Let's see. We got to download it first.
For time. Guys, I went to the mall today.
You went to the mall?
Yep. It was
true?
It was a harrowing situation. I forgot what
it is. Did you just pull that up? Was that what that was, or are you still getting it?
It was harrowing, and I'm never doing it again.
Okay, there it is. The quick recap. Our new graphic. I look very young for the first time ever. You used the young graphic. I really appreciate it. We'll go through it here. The Nuggets look sluggish to open this game. It's kind of hard to remember. Do you remember this game was like 5-4 for like 5 minutes?
Sluggets.
It was the Sluggets, man. But they found a rhythm in the back half of that first quarter. Especially Jokic just throwing dimes in this one. I mean, this was another one of those games where Jokic didn't seem to really care about shooting. Can't blame him. They found that good rhythm though in the end of the first quarter, and you kind of like, okay, here it goes. Bones gets hurt right away. Bench comes in. Bones plays for like 30 seconds, gets hurt. The broadcast did not really mention anything, so I'm curious to find out what exactly it was, the extent of it. Ankle, but like, what was it? Like, stepped on we didn't see it. Did you see the play?
Well, he tweaked his ankle last night against the Kings, and then I just don't think he was 100%. I think Mike Malone recognized that and pulled him.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If it's just like, you're a little hobbled, we don't need to rush it. Facu came in, did a great job. This was a good game. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. But the real story was JMyke Green and DeMarcus Cousins. The front court, bully ball, man. Alabama ball. Two Alabama brothers here, and they were running that pick and roll with Boogie up top and JMyke in the dunker spot, running it to perfection. Boogie was absolutely cooking, doing a little bit of everything. I think he had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block after his first stint, 8 minutes. An unreal stat line.
Dominant.
And then starters kind of stuck in second gear in that second quarter, but in the third quarter, Jokic came out absolutely dominant. Dimes everywhere. Was diming it up. Was headed for a triple-double, and to make me look like a genius, except He didn't get to 10 points. 8 points, 18 rebounds, 11 assists. 18 rebounds, 11 assists, and I think somebody said he had 10 potential assists that didn't turn into assists. Maybe that was just an exaggeration. But he was throwing so many great passes tonight. Had an all-timer. And then the game was over. The bench came in and just, like, clowned him. But it was like a 15-point game that the bench turned into a 30-point game. Did I miss anything?
How exciting it was.
I'll say this, man. Nikola Jokic tonight had one of the most incredible passes I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
That is one of the greatest passes I've ever witnessed, man.
I hope that Monte Morris is, like, just taking some time by himself.
I bet he is.
Just, like, because that would be a replay that we played through the annals of history.
That ball curved in midair.
Yeah, it was
like a knuckleball, but went to exactly the right spot in the corner on a no look.
I know.
Like, while it was happening, Adam was like, no, and it just gets by. He's like, oh, that's perfect. That's such a perfect pass.
Because he threw it like the way he threw it was like a twisting body.
Was unbelievable.
Like, it was the weirdest thing. He does this sometimes. I'm telling you. People, I saw some tweets earlier. Like, there's been some people watching these last 3 or 4 games, which the Nuggets have all won, by the way, and have been like, "Yoke, what's wrong? Is he tired? Is he this and that?" I'm like, I honestly think this. These games are not locks. Like, you can blow it, but I think these games, like Jokic, just kind of knows, hey man, get a little rest here. I know what I'm doing, because when he starts throwing those passes you've never seen before, when he's doing that, that's what I'm like. He's comfortable. He's not worried. He's trying things that he's not even sure if they'll work.
Look, man, he was sitting on 8 points, and he had, like, Greg Brown III posted up and just decided to throw the ball to the corner. Yeah. You're like, that was one of his last possessions of the third quarter.
He was absolutely dominant. So, Dev, I'll start with you. What's your big takeaway from this game?
I think I have 2 big takeaways in this one. First, just how effortless the Nuggets have been against those sub-500 teams. Like, this was a game that most would have called like a trap game. I don't feel like Nuggets have had any trap games as of late. Like, they've been going into these games and they're winning easily. This was a game that they started with the 8.5-point favorites, and that was just way too low, like, when you look at it. So that's, like, super big. But also, the bench unit wins, like, just takes over the entire game. Yes. Like, that has to be the storyline of the game, is they not only built a lead early in the game, but they extended that lead and took off. And that's just what you want and expect from the team. Now you get to ask, is Yoke bored? Is he tired? In a game that they win by so much, that's a great question to ask.
Yeah, I don't even think the Nuggets are eligible for trap games. Like, trap games mean that they're so overly confident that they look past somebody, but their season has been such that, like, I don't think they've been able to look past to tomorrow. They don't even know who's going to be playing any given night on their own team.
See, I disagree with you, because I agree with you that was the case for the Nuggets all the way up until very recently, but this is kind of the difference now. Is I think before it's like the bench wasn't going to save you. You have a bad game, the bench isn't going to save you. Right now, not that Denver can't overlook, they're just really good. I mean, they won by 35 tonight. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you in like, they lost to Orlando, they lost to some teams early. But now I'm like, hey man, Yoke can be average, Barton can be bad, Monte can be off, and they still can win with other guys.
I mean, I completely agree. Of course, that's the case. I just mean that I don't think they are I think they are living very much in the moment. Okay. I think they are, like, every game. I don't think they're like, oh man, we're gonna kill these guys.
No.
Like, I think that, like, every game, there's so many guys that are still looking to prove themselves. Boogie, for example. I mean, this game was
Boogie's definitely playing to prove himself, and I love it.
Won by the bench. Like, there's no trap game for the bench, because they're going to be trying their hearts out to make sure that they get playing time, everybody, because that hasn't been an assurance by any stretch of the imagination. The bench unit has changed so many times. So, if we had to rely wholly on the starters tonight, like, maybe it would have been more of a trap game, but it just, I mean, like, also, like, come on, Portland.
I think this is what you're talking about. We kept talking about the midseason shot in the arm coming from Jamal Murray or Michael Porter coming back. The midseason shot in the arm has actually come from a bench, because you're right. The starters right now maybe do lack motivation on a night-by-night basis, but the bench doesn't. They are there. Bryn Forbes is there to prove them. Bones tonight wasn't there, but he's been there to prove himself. DeMarcus Cousins, and even tonight you had a little bit of Facu trying. What do you have a big takeaway?
It's just that bench, man. Like, every game that Boogie has played, my big takeaway has been, like, I can't believe how impactful Boogie Cousins is for the Denver Nuggets. I cannot believe Boogie Cousins in the year 2022, the year of our Lord, is the keystone player of the Denver Nuggets. On a team that contains Nikola Jokic, Boogie Cousins is the most important center on the Denver Nuggets. I don't know how this is possible, but it's true.
I really wanted him to get a triple-double. It would have been the cool. If there were two centers that got a triple-double in the same game, it would have been the coolest
I wanted
thing.
Jokic to get one.
I really wanted him to get one.
All Jokic had to do was make 5 baskets. He made 4.
I know. Harrison, what's your big takeaway?
Well, it kind of goes with what D-Line was saying. You mentioned the shot in the arm a second ago. Yeah, the bench has been transformational over the last couple of weeks, but the shot in the arm was one guy. Like, DeMarcus Cousins completely changed this bench. The Britton Forbes addition has been nice. JMyke Green's been playing some really good basketball over the last couple of weeks, but DeMarcus Cousins is the reason why this bench looks so good, and this is a game that I think Denver might have lost before the All-Star break, because you're on a back-to-back. Denver's laid some stinkers on back-to-backs this season. They have not been a good team on back-to-backs like they've been in years past, but you have a game where the starters don't exactly bring it. If you had your bench that you had earlier this season, this is an L probably.
Right.
So the fact that Denver starters just didn't really show up much tonight, and the bench brought it, and they blew out a Portland Trailblazers team that has had some decent games as of late. I don't think this is a game the Nuggets win earlier this season.
The thing about this unit is it really is an identity thing now. Like, they just have an identity. And some of it is, it's funny because I really love Zeke Naji, and him being out here, it's changed. Like, it's made, okay, well, clearly we'll play JaMychal Green. I like the dynamic those two guys have developed together right now. Like, it's a very physical front court.
Yeah.
It's a very tough, the opposing benches have to look at that front court and be like, man, we're going to get pushed around. We're going to get elbowed today. We're going to have to box out really hard from the get-go. And they have that dunker spot gravity between JMyke and then playmaking. Boogie's big contributions are, rebounding, size, and skill. Like, the skill part of it just sticks out. And it allows JMyke to be that paint presence underneath, and it just blends together very, very nicely.
The obnoxious part about it is that the addition of just a big guy to the bench was so obvious as to what they needed this entire season that they definitely just dropped so many games early on that they didn't have to. I'm glad they finally got to the right answer. It's annoying because we were all screaming for it the entire time.
I think you're right, but I also don't think, if the Nuggets got Robin Lopez.
I agree. I agree with this.
The bench could have looked better, but I don't think it looks nearly as good because what Boogie Cousins brings is the playmaking element.
Yep.
There's movement. There's motion on the bench unit now. If Robin Lopez was here, one of those just 7-footers, you're still running pick and pops. That's still the offense. With Boogie Cousins, man, you're running actual stuff.
It's true. It's for sure. And we're seeing Boogie Cousins get more and more comfortable. His playmaking get more and more pronounced. And now the bench is dominating.
Yeah. Right.
But when they just plugged him in and he was just a guy and he looked sluggish.
And it still worked. Yeah.
And it still worked.
Yeah. He's definitely come into his own over the last 5-ish games.
We're actually getting some, now it's all right.
Totally.
The
way I put it is we talk about the personality of the team. That second unit, he's kind of the main guy. Honestly, he's kind of the main guy right now. Everybody else, and I'm not saying he's the best player, although he might be. He is the guy that everybody kind of looks to right now, and it's kind of amazing how quickly that's happening.
What I think that it stands out, and it goes back to the personality of the team and also the identity of the team, is him being the best guy makes sense for the Nuggets because their best player is also the center. So you have guys that are still going through their center every single time. And it's not that Jokic and Boogie play the exact same way, but they bring some of the same traits. They're both playmakers. They're both, really, really big. Boogie makes things happen every single time that he's on the floor. It's a la Nikola Jokic. But also, this was the first time in a while that they didn't have the young guy that they had to try to go through. They knew exactly what they were going to get. There was no Zeke Naji. There was no Bones Highland. So you have these vets in the league that have been around for a long time that have, their identities. You know what to expect from them. So you've seen the same things from Austin Rivers. Facu brought his energy. You have Cousins who does everything. JaMychal Green's not a backup center, so now he's getting to play at the forward spot. So you got to have guys play their exact roles, but the team around them knew what their roles was. So now you're not having to guess, and you're not having to make things happen. You're playing the way that they're designed to, and I just think that it meshes.
Here's the other thing that is huge with DeMarcus Cousins. He is currently second on the Nuggets in player fouls drawn per game. If you go per 36, he's number one ahead of Jokic. Right now, Jokic draws about 6.3 fouls per game. DeMarcus Cousins draws 3.1. So between the two of them, you're drawing 9 fouls, and we're seeing the impact of that.
And Cousins is doing that in less than 20 minutes a game.
It's insane. So right now you have two bigs that are just really, really hard to guard without fouling, that even if they're not making shots, it's still like you're probably putting pressure on an opposing team. So
it's crazy, too, just because the scuttlebutt around town, if you will, around the trade deadline was like, man, the Nuggets didn't do anything.
I know.
You know?
That's so
but really
true.
what they did was they added Bryn Forbes and Boogie Cousins just like a week before the actual trade deadline.
So true.
And even if they had made those moves on the trade deadline, we all would have been like, okay, like what are we doing? Those guys have been transformational.
It's so true. Like, if you think about it, James Harden's obviously had a big impact. Like, you count him number one. Sure. But outside of that, like, I'm sorry, Nuggets just smacked the Kings in large part because the bench smacked Sabonis. Like, so honestly, you could make the case that the Nuggets actually had the second biggest trade deadline acquisition. At least I know it's short, really small sample size.
Which is Bryn Forbes, but then
and DeMarcus Cousins.
But he wasn't traded for. He was just acquired.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, the point is,
I know.
People say this.
Like, they made additions around the trade deadline. They weren't big trade deadline, but it.
I just like this thing about like teams that have changed mid-season, like ish. Like Denver's honestly maybe changed as much as anyone, and it's really
the other
neat.
Encouraging thing about Boogie Cousins, and you've kind of noticed this over the last couple of games, where he's been dunking the ball a little bit, and I think looking a lot more athletic than he looked in his first couple of games, is that he's I think getting some agility back.
Agility is a good way of putting it.
Because
I don't think it's dunking, although he did have one tonight.
He had a couple last game too, but when he came here, like, he was moving so slow, and he was clearly out of shape.
Yeah,
and he was coming off a calf strain, and then he picked up a foot sprain, and now he's as healthy as he's been these last couple of weeks, and you can tell he's getting a little bit of pop back. He's moving a little quicker out there. He still looks pretty gassed anytime he gets above 15 minutes. But I think there's a lot of hope that he regains some athleticism and quickness and bounce. The more he's around the team, the more he's in the lineup over the rest of the season.
I don't know if we're going to see this, but I'd like this is the dumbest comment I'll ever have. I'd like to see him smile a little more. Like, I feel like he's had this chip on his shoulder since arriving in Denver. You know what I mean? Like,
I walk with Adam down the street. He says this to every woman he passes. Also,
that's true. She's like, to women. That's what I say.
You're always like,
usually
you're so pretty. Why don't you smile more?
Why don't you smile more? No, but I'm serious with DeMarcus. Here's my point with DeMarcus. I can't tell. Like, even the other day, right before the break, he had a great game, and then he goes to the podium, and he was like so down. And remember, he was talking about, he doesn't even know if he's going to be here. And I just remember, like, Boogie, like, crowds chanting your name. Like, what is it? And I just hope, I don't know, maybe that's just how he is. But I do hope that he starts to have a little bit of fun with this group, because it does seem like the city loves him. The team loves him. I mean, he's just fitting in.
Yeah, you saying that just brings me back to, like, the presser with him and Monte Morris. Like, that was his happiest time. In his whole tenure with the Nuggets, and you could tell that there has been, like, a release for him being signed for the entire year, but he hasn't even got to spoke about what that means to him. Like, I know that has to mean be really meaningful, because even with the Bucks situation, he thought he was playing well and they still let him go. So I know that there has to be like a fear of, it doesn't matter how good we're doing, they're going to still let me go. So it was great to see him smile, and I do hope he does more of that, just because he means a lot to the team.
We're selling JaMychal Green a little bit short, spending all his time on Boogie, because he had 20 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block tonight, 7 of 8 from the field. Like, he was also fantastic, and he has been very good over his last 10 games or so. So JMyke also, this is why the Zeke Naji thing is so tough. Zeke Naji didn't do anything wrong; he was playing great, but JMyke. I'm sort of arriving at the point where I'm kind of like JMyke and Boogie together. I just like that pairing.
Yeah,
it's so physical.
You said that he's been good for the last 10 games. Are they 10-0 in there? When Boogie's is
hey, some of those are Zeke Naji games. Some of those are Zeke Naji games.
But I just really it's something to the fact that he does not have to play backup center. I know that
it's so true.
A lot.
It's like, so totally
true. He's right where he's supposed to be. He's playing against the position that he's supposed to, and it's also like helping him not have to commit those like extra fouls or put himself in situations where he has to be help side defender, and that's not what he's supposed to do. He's now being able to use that same energy on the offensive end. This is the first time I can like tell from myself that both greens played well at the same time.
Right.
Like that's monumental.
Something I am wondering about that pairing though. I think now look, we've seen in the Boogie Cousins run that there are some really bad benches in the NBA. Like there are some awful.
That's part of it. We need to
benches. And I think they'll run into a second unit that, has some quality bigs, and that 4-man is more of like an outside player and a little more athletic. And I think, they'll run into a team that gives that pairing some trouble.
But Harrison, hold on. I want to interrupt here. For one thing, Boogie does what Jokic does, which is he draws your center out. That means JMyke gets to play in. So even if it is one of these stretch guys, yes, you're vulnerable to 3-point, variance. But you're also that means they're vulnerable to JMyke, because this is the thing that I think you're talking about, Dev. JMyke's a bully, but he doesn't get to bully guys that are bigger than him. If you put a guy his size or smaller on him, he gets to bully the hell out of him.
Yeah, I'm just like I think there's still going to be a time when you look at Zeke and you're like, okay, we need him in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
We are pro bully on this show, by the way.
We are very pro bully. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get to the starters. So it's so weird that we open the show all the time with the bench now.
I did.
Feels good.
Every time. It does feel good. It's just weird.
We used to start with the bench like, my God, they were awful. And we just talk about how terrible they are.
We'll take a break. Good. We also have a special guest we'll bring on here on the other side of this break.
Have you not been able to watch the Nuggets bench this season or Avalanche games this season?
Oh, my gosh.
Evoca TV. It's a totally new paradigm for TV delivery that is less expensive, more efficient, and offers a superior picture than legacy providers. Of course, they have Altitude Sports and other national channels as well. So if you haven't been able to watch the Nuggets this season, it's a really good deal. Like, to be totally honest, $25 a month. You get the receiver as well. No contracts, no hidden feeds. Your price is locked in for 2 years. So $25 a month. That's it. Not that much money to watch.
People are loving
Nuggets.
this, by the way, man. We keep hearing about Keep tweeting at us, man. Yeah. Tag TV Evoca, I think, is their handle. Tag them, too.
For sure. Way cheaper than cable. So go to evoca.tv/DNVR, evoca.tv/DNVR to watch Nuggets games again. Also, the official beer of DNVR, Breckenridge Brewery. If you're local, stop into the DNVR bar. We got tons of Breck Brews on tap. We've got Breck Brew seltzers as well. If you're not local, hit up the Breck Brew beer locator. You can find out where you can get Breckenridge Brewery, no matter where you are, even if you're not in Colorado. So check out the official beer of DNVR, Breck Brew.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We do have a special guest here. Of course, we just played the Trailblazers.
Where's your growler, bro?
We have to welcome in our old friend Bleric. Bleric from Portland. Man, Bleric.
Bro.
The Blazers on some hard times, man. We're not used to seeing the Blazers this down. What?
Are you sure do we have to talk about the Blazers?
We do have to talk about the Blazers.
I want to talk about our congested highways or the Rose Garden.
We talk about the Rose Garden?
Fine, let's talk about the Blazers, man. Times are tough. I used to think that CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard were going to lead us to the promised land. Turns out the promised land, second round exits.
Well, sometimes like last year, maybe a first round exit.
Bro.
Bleric, I just have. So who is your favorite player tonight off of the bench?
Well, let me see off the bench. Off our bench?
Yes, off your bench. Just name a player from the bench that you really like.
I got to shoot you
Just
straight,
say their
bro.
whole
I got to
name.
shoot you straight, bro. Played a lot of hacky sack during that game. Drank several growlers. Did not see most of what happened in the second half or the first half.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
don't really know. Wow.
Is Anthony Simons on the bench?
No, he was a starter. He was a starter tonight.
What about that Ellerby guy?
I hear Anthony Simons though has been a real bright spot for you guys.
I love him.
Is he a future cornerstone piece?
I mean, in the same way that Everclear became a cornerstone piece of our musical history here in Portland, I used to watch them at Pioneer Square.
Pioneer
Square. I would say yes. I mean, what a talent on display tonight. I can't wait. The future is bright. Dame, you got to stick around for this. All Blazers fans. We got a good thing going. I got to say that.
So right now I'm looking at the standings. You know, Portland is just a half game up on the Pelicans. Pelicans right now up on the Lakers, so they could tie them.
Sure.
You know, what's your confidence level that you guys will stay in the play-in there?
Oh, full confidence, bro. Full confidence. Listen, we got one thing that other people don't have: the Tillamook Cheese Factory, and an impressive coastline. All those added together with Anthony Simons, I like our chances each and every night.
Wow, anybody else have any questions for Bleric here? I mean, he's really sharing so much about Portland.
Listen, guys,
I'm learning so
How do you
much.
feel about your new coach that you have and what he brings to the organization?
That's a great question.
Not familiar. Who is he? What? I don't even know. After we traded CJ, I just haven't really been paying
Chauncey
attention.
Billups?
Is that who it is? Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
You don't really have any thoughts.
What's your favorite bridge in Portland?
Finally a goddamn question. I mean, I've been here for 20 minutes. That's going to be either Burnside or St. John's. Depends on the day. You know, I'm gonna go St. John's. Much more picturesque.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
This was absolutely fantastic. I feel like I learned so much about the Blazers.
Hey, bros.
It's good to get a Blazers perspective on tonight's game.
Listen, guys. I'm nothing if not a devoted Portland Trailblazers fan. I can't get enough. This last decade has been kind to me, and the future couldn't be brighter.
I'm very proud for you, Bleric. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all right,
close up on me and win there as we thank you. We'll bring back Eric now.
We'll see you next year.
See you next year. That was an enthralling interview.
We'll see you in the preseason.
We'll
We'll probably play the Blazers like 3 times
our old
again.
friend Bleric. But for real, man, right now it is crazy to look at. The Pelicans are going to be the 10 seed. I mean, they are up 30 points right now on the Los Angeles Lakers. But we'll get to around the association later. But my God, the Blazers, how the mighty have fallen.
I got Portland fans like Bleric trying to talk me into Anthony Simons. Man.
That guy's an idiot.
I just don't see it.
I'll be honest. Anthony Simons is in one of the top fan bases that overrate this guy. I'm telling you, man.
The problem is I just can't imagine him playing a big role on a good team.
There's just
that's
no way.
where it comes down to. That's what it comes down to.
Nate Jones, one of my favorite follows. He's a good basketball opinion haver, but he loves Simons too. And every time I watch him, I'm like, this guy, man, I don't know.
It's probably like one of the. There's a lot of guys like that where you're like, man, I think this guy's pretty good, and then every time you play him, you're like, or vice versa, you're like, this guy sucks.
But even his skill set is not a thing I believe in. That's the thing about it, is that I'm not like, man, that guy just controls the game. You know, he just really runs
scored
it there.
40 points several times. Listen,
sometimes guys score 40 points.
I'm with you. I don't see it either, but I don't know.
We get back to the starters here tonight. So Jokic, we briefly mentioned it, 8 points, 18 rebounds. We haven't seen one of these big rebound totals, I feel like, for a while. And then 11 assists. Here's the funniest, man. 3 of 5 from the field. Jokic took 5 shots tonight. I don't want to say he dominated the game, even though he kind of did, but he was only a +6 in 26 minutes. Yeah. But he was great. He was great at his role tonight, despite never being out of second gear. How do you evaluate him, Dev?
I really didn't like the fact that, he only took 5 shots in a game, and 2 of the shots were just throw up, 3-pointers that he just had to get it out of his hands.
That's true, actually. Trying. You're right.
So he really did not try to score. And I want there to be a question, or he just addresses it. Right now, he's just not trying to score. He wants other people to be involved, because that's just what it feels like in those in this game. He took advantage of the matchup as far as the rebounds, and just getting guys to be at the perfect spot every single time. It doesn't feel like guys have to guess, or they don't know what to do. So I think that's great that guys know how to play alongside Jokic But now he's not taking over in those games and scoring those big numbers that we were expecting, which throws it off. But there was a stretch in his game that he took over in every single way besides scoring, where he was the best player on the court because he was just passing the ball and grabbing every single rebound, and he just sees things before they happen. So, like, this was like one of those beautiful mind-type games from Jokic that you appreciate. And if he scores, 15, 18 points, you say, oh, that's another dominant performance from him.
Yeah. I love that he didn't do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
didn't do anything.
I mean, I just like that he didn't go super aggressive on the scoring. He did not waste any energy tonight. I mean, he did he just was better and bigger and taller, and he was smarter, and it was clearly like he was tired, and it's cool. And he just did exactly what he had to do, which was very, very little. And I mean, I would have preferred if you just sat this game out, frankly, but he kind of did.
No, here's
while
the
playing.
thing. That's what I was gonna say. Is I feel like this was like a. You ever have like a gym day or something, and you only do like a half workout?
Yeah.
And you're like, well,
I've had a lot of those.
I could probably work out tomorrow. I didn't really go that hard. I could probably do this again. That's what he did tonight. Like he got rest and played at the same time. Here's the metaphor I would use for him. There's two of them. One, it reminds me a bit of Larry Bird. Again, a guy we always compare him to, who some nights was just like, I'm going to shoot left-handed. Like tonight I really feel like this. He was like, I'm not going to shoot tonight. I wonder if I could dominate this game without scoring. And he almost did it. He only had to shoot begrudgingly. But the other one is, do you know the scene in Good Will Hunting? I always compare him to Will in that movie because I honestly think it's the best like metaphor for him. Do you know the scene where he's talking to his professor and he's like, do you know how easy this is for me? Yeah. Like whatever. That's how Yoke is. He's always like, nights like tonight, he's like, oh, I didn't shoot enough? You know how easy this game is for me? I had 18 rebounds and 11 assists. Like, this stuff is boring, man.
Yeah, this was he put out 10% effort tonight, maybe. Like, this was one of the lowest effort games I can remember from him. 11 assists and 2 turnovers. That's wild. Like, you got to think about Jokic's assists like he's the Nuggets point guard. Yeah. And point guards, they turn the ball over a lot because they have the ball in their hands a ton. And Jokic touches the ball on a game-to-game basis more than anyone in the NBA. Last time I checked, he's the only one who gets like more than 100 touches per game. But 11 assists at 2 turnovers is wild.
We need to pour some water on the Will Barton is hot after the All-Star break. Like he's now a second game in a row where he just hasn't shot the ball well. 1 of 8. We all predicted he was going to break the record in Portland. What a good story it would be. 0 of 5 from the three-point line tonight. He just couldn't. I mean, he had 3 points tonight, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Like he also wasn't good. But I mean, thankfully tonight doesn't matter. But how do we? Is Will back? Is he not back? Where are we at?
I mean, I think you can't judge him off of this one game. It was the second night of a back-to-back, I think, that we keep forgetting about just because of how easy it came from those guys.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, legs weren't under him, and we already know, like, he was healthy and spry. But it's the second night of a back-to-back for him, and he just got back into that rhythm. So, if he keeps putting those type of numbers up, then you have to say something. But the Nuggets did not need him to do good tonight. So, like, you can't be hard on him for that. If this is a different game, maybe he gets to the line. I feel like he was hunting that 3-point shot. And also, like, maybe, like, there was just so much with it being the return to Portland and it being a opportunity for him to win it. But now he gets it in a different opportunity with not so much pressure on him. So, I think that's not a game that you judge him off of.
Eric, I'm excited. I'm selfishly, I think he wanted to probably do this in Portland because it would have been a cool little story. But I'm actually sneaky excited for him to do this at Ball Arena.
Hell yeah.
Because you know why? If he did it tonight, I don't think they don't stop the game to say, Will Barton. They might stop the game on Wednesday. If he breaks it on Wednesday, he gets 2 3-pointers and breaks it. I think you stop it. And here's the thing. He always remembers that he was booed. But that record is important to him, and I hope on Wednesday, if he breaks it, or if not Friday, that crowd gives him a standing ovation because that's a hell of a record. Most 3-pointers in franchise history.
If you have anything that is the top in franchise history, it's impressive. Yeah. The Nuggets have been around for 50-plus years.
Yeah, yep.
We've had, like, really good. I mean, we haven't had the greatest 3-point shooters pass through here, but we have had good ones. We've had Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. We've had
J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith,
Michael Adams.
Yes.
You've had some guys, but more than that, like, to get a record, a counting record, meaning not like in a year or whatever, but this is a career record, means you had to spend a lot of time here. And this is the thing I always say. This is why I don't like the idea of people always wanting to trade a player when you're frustrated with them. Will Barton is a huge part of Denver history now, because I think he's played like the 9th most games or 10th most games of anybody in Nuggets history too. Like, it's kind of why you don't really think of him that way. But that's why I think it's kind of a cool moment. And I'm actually happy he gets to have it in Denver, and I hope it's a standing ovation.
Yeah. I think he actually wanted to break it last night, to be totally honest.
With like 6 threes, that would have been insane.
He needed 5, I think. Wow. Got 3. But, I'm just thinking about how cool of a moment that would be if they did stop the game. And if he did get a standing ovation.
Will they stop it, do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It probably depends on where in the game it happens, because I feel like when these things happen in the first quarter, everybody's cool with like, hey, a little moment to take that ball out or something and sign it. I don't know.
I mean, the only record I can remember recently that they've stopped the game for is Steph Curry passing Reggie Miller.
That was a big one. LeBron has had a couple where milestones where they've stopped, 40,000 points or whatever it is, and they've stopped it.
Yeah. I don't know. They should. I think they should stop it. I mean, who cares? Just stop the game for a second.
I think that they should. I don't think that they will. I just don't feel like they give enough attention to it, like leading into it. That's something that they should be talking about right now. He has the opportunity to break it on their home court. Like, that'd be a great opportunity for them.
If they don't stop it, I bet you Michael Malone calls a timeout. Or somebody takes a foul.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because he understands the
right.
Because I think Malone is... I mean, he obviously knows Will's 2 away.
Point.
I think he would recognize that moment.
It's going to be a Jokic take foul that forces him to the bench.
I know.
Jokic's third foul was to get a standing ovation for Will Barton. Like, what are we doing?
We lost the game by 40 points because of it. Yeah.
All right, let's hit our break. There's Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Monte Morris. I don't really have big notes on them. We could talk about
Jeff Green was aggressive tonight.
He was aggressive tonight.
That's my note.
Talk about Josh Ellerby?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him either.
Okay.
So let's go fit our final break. We do have Brennan Vogt waiting right now, and he will be sharing some notes from the presser today.
Light Shade Dispensary.
Yes, sir.
They carry the Escape Artist, which is the highest awarded topical brand in Colorado. Where can you get it? Light Shade Dispensary, Colorado's premier dispensary with 10, soon to be 11 locations. That 11th is coming March 1st. All those locations in the Denver metro and Aurora area. Podcast listeners, you guys can get 25% off non-sale items with the code DNVR. Again, if you want to pick up some Escape Artists, the highest awarded topical brand in Colorado, check out Light Shade Dispensary, Colorado's premier dispensary with 10 locations in the Denver metro and Aurora area. Use the code DNVR. You're going to get 25% off non-sale items. What else do we got here?
I have that Escape Artist cream, by the way.
Have you? Oh, really?
Yeah. I have old person achy knees.
Yeah, me too.
When it gets cold, they ache for no real good reason, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Put a little top cream on.
Yeah.
I feel like
great.
I feel like I'm just 53 again afterwards.
I don't know if you feel like you could play in a rugby game, but you feel
easy.
good.
Easy.
Yeah. Your Colorado rugby team, guys, in Colorado, in Denver, it's the American Raptors. They're Rugby Town USA's newest rugby team. What's really cool about the American Raptors, they are made up of athletes who have competed at the highest levels of their respective sports. So these guys come from backgrounds in football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, soccer, track and field. They've played professionally in the NFL, other leagues as well. And they play at Infinity Park right here in Glendale, Colorado. So listen to the DNVR Rugby podcast with Colton Strickler if you want to get into rugby. And if not, check out a game at Infinity Park in Glendale.
Awesome. All right, we're back real quick. Kale, can you bring up do you have the party bus graphic here? Just want to remind everybody, we are doing a party bus on March 26th right here from the bar. You come here, it's a Saturday. You guys saw the video, the vlog we played in the pregame show. It's also up on our YouTube. Saturday nights at the DNVR Bar, just the greatest thing. Party bus nights, even better than that. And that night, we're going to be giving away this jersey right here. You can see this beautiful Number 90 jersey. That's
Number 90.
A Breckenridge Brewery Nuggets jersey. It's still dope though. It's like a very good summer summer jersey right there.
That. I really do like.
This is my favorite Nuggets jersey I've ever seen in my life.
It's also not. It's like the high end actual stitched version.
Oh yeah, this thing is like this is like quality.
Vinyl.
There also can't be many of those going out, so I would want one of those. I wish I was born in '90 just for that type of.
In 1990,
one of one.
I wish that you were 90.
So dumb. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Brendan Vogt, who's currently isolated inside of a closet in Bolsonaro's palace. Brendan, it is great to see you. Hey, man, this is like the first I've seen you.
I know, it's the boy from Ipanema.
Is it weird? I hope it's just, honestly, just seeing you, it warmed my heart. I was like, oh, there he is.
I feel the same way watching you guys on that pregame show. Quick question. Did you all get hotter since I left?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude.
Kale, I think he said he's got new cameras. So super producer Kale, I think, just doing the Lord's work here, making us look good.
Well, he does that. Special K, super producer. You guys want to hear from Michael Malone after that 6th straight win?
Let's hear from him. Well, first I want to hear what kind of mood he was in.
Good mood, jubilant mood. It was a vibey presser.
Okay.
I mean, not like over the top, but just I think everyone was feeling themselves. Malone was feeling the second unit. And why not, right? They've been the key to a lot of success of late. A lot of Boogie Cousins talk today, so let's get into it. Malone did joke about Cousins getting into game shape. He said, I think he's always going to play like he's got cement blocks on his feet. And I can say that because I love him. But then he laughed. He said, I thought tonight's the bench was the difference maker, particularly DeMarcus Cousins and JMyke Green. Adam, I saw you put on Twitter, you really love that pairing. You talked about it from a more tactical perspective. Guy in the dunker spot in the 4. Malone went with the intangibles. He said it's the toughness, the physicality, the edge, and of course he pointed out that they're both from Alabama, and then that they know each other well, and that they're just playing really well together. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, Michael Malone reminded us that his father was on that staff for the Bad Boy Pistons. He said, I love guys who do the dirty work. I don't think that was really a comparison, but he's just saying that he loves guys who do the dirty work.
Honestly, the bringing up the Bad Boys Pistons is honestly like a top 5 Malone shtick.
Yeah.
Like just any opportunity to bring it up, he's like, I'm going to go, my father to the Bad Boys Pistons. That's where I grew up, eh?
Yeah, his father was a coach, sources tell me.
Jeff Van Gundy.
On Facu, he said he was really, really proud of Facu, who's not been playing lately, and that's not been easy for him. It's been killing him not to play. He's not used to not playing throughout his career, of course, overseas. He stayed engaged. That speaks to him as a professional, speaks to his willingness to put the team first. He also pointed out all the rebounds he got, and Facu got the defensive player of the game chain. Not sure if you guys have picked up on this by now. That's really more of a coaching tactic than anything else.
It really is, man. It's so fun. Honestly, it might have jumped the shark. I'm all for it. It's fun, but it definitely is this is how all right, little tangent. Because I just got done coaching my daughter's 5-year-old league, and they give us a medal every time, and it says valor or something. It has something that I'm supposed to hand out to a kid that showed some trait that cannot possibly be shown in a 5-year-old game. And I feel the exact same as Malone handing it out. I just pick a kid. I'm Emma.
Yeah,
very courageous tonight out there.
That actually reminds me, Vogt. You are MVP of the show today.
Thank you. Yeah. I needed that one. It's been killing me not to play. Barton got one stop in crunch time. He's like, please do that more. Here's the chain. Okay, anyway. He did joke, he was asked about the standings, Michael Malone that is, and if he takes a peek at those during times like these. And Malone said he busted out another Maloneism. How do you eat an elephant? You take small bites at a time.
Yeah, he's gotten to that one before.
I was going to say broiled.
How do you skin a cat? Well, you don't have to go down that. If you don't enjoy the wins, why the hell are you playing? And I do check the standings, Malone admitted.
I love that. I'm telling you, I'm glad he admitted that one. Won't admit Michael Porter's coming back, but he'll admit that what we all know. Watches the show too. Hey, Mike. Good game tonight. Great work. Michael, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Michael,
oh my God.
Michael, come on, man.
He used to watch the show.
He used to watch
until that little interlude.
Oh, the downvote.
Bryn Forbes, we heard from today. He talked about how important it is on the second end of a back-to-back for benches to step up. The guys who only played 20 minutes the night before, so they knew that was important. He said, I think we've got a lot of talented players in that second unit. We've got 2 really good big men, and I think when we move the ball, we're going to be hard to stop. I think we're just clicking as a team. We haven't been playing nearly perfect, not even close to our best basketball. We're still making mistakes, but right now we're overcoming them. I think it speaks to how good we could possibly be. He talked about DeMarcus Cousins and the importance of him getting back in basketball shape, and he called Cousins a punisher down low. So we should call him the punisher now.
Big pun. All right, I'm with it.
Big pun.
Then he went in a different direction. He said, me personally, I don't check the standings. I think our focus should be playing good basketball. Standings take care of themselves. Spoken like a true former San Antonio Spur, in my opinion.
Do we know what his personality is yet?
Brendan Forbes?
Yeah.
He rides in the middle, man. Rides in the middle.
All right.
JMyke Green gave us 3 answers, then dipped, and that was it. He said they knew the other team was small tonight. They wanted to beat them up on the boards. That was their mentality coming in. He also said, we just knew we were the better team tonight, so we didn't want to give them any type of fight. And finally, on the Alabama boys bringing the grit, he said, I don't know. Maybe it's something in the water. We've got a chip on our shoulder. We're not going to back down from anyone. We just want the smoke.
I love it. There you go. The Alabama boys.
I would say that what brought the grit is the grits. Right? In Alabama?
I'm a big fan of grits, by the way.
They eat a lot of grits down there.
Cheese grits are the best. It's a great food. I wish it was more than just a Southern food.
Yeah.
Vogt. Anything else? Any other parting shots here? I mean, our parting thoughts?
Or shots if you want to tell
or
Dev.
you can just
tell
tell
Dev
us
to
off.
step it up.
Yeah, just get your shit together. You know what I mean? I thought it was kind of a loose show, but good to see all you guys.
What a parting shot.
All right. Take care. Be safe. Man, I like it. There's some good stuff here from Michael Malone. I like that he's feeling chipper. I like that he's watching the show.
I like
as reported by Brendan Vogt.
I know. I like. You know what I like? Brendan Vogt.
I do too, man. It's good to see him. Yeah, he brings a boyish charm. We have some super chats we want to get to. Why don't we hit these? We always appreciate when you guys super chat us. It's sending us to Serbia. Ryan Green going to shoot the documentary. DNVR does Serbia. I can't wait, man. The
as long as there's not Serbia. World War III. We'll
as long as there's not, we are going to. This is going to be the greatest documentary in history. Mark says, I'm 5'9". I think I could start for the Blazers at center. Go Nugs. I love this one. It's so true. That's why it's so weird. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just the thing about Jokic. And it's not right or wrong. But in games like this, there are certain guys like Karl-Anthony Towns. He'd go off for 50 tonight.
Yeah.
And he would talk about it. He'd post about it. He would do all this stuff about no one could stop me. Yeah. And meanwhile, it's like C.J. Ellerby was the guy that couldn't stop him. And you're like, well, that's not. Yeah, he was nobody. All right, what else we got? Joseph says, did you guys hear Josh Hart at the free throw line talking to Uncle Jeff? I should have just dunked on your old ass sometime.
Did you guys happen to see
That's
Josh Hart
good, actually.
pull up for a logo airball?
Yeah, I did see that one too. Yeah, that was a really
that
forced.
Was one of the worst shots I've ever seen anybody take.
Really bad. I like Josh Hart. Richard says, can't wait for around the association segments to discuss the Lakers looking like a team with no millionaires. I love it. Such a great line. They do look like a team with no millionaires, but they have a couple billionaires. What else we got? Tyler says, here's $5 for my ticket on the MPJ hype train. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm talking about. We have not nearly hyped this up enough. I'm sorry.
The MPJ hype train is still in the station.
No. But it's leaving the station.
But it has not left yet.
But it is. It's like the horn is going.
Yeah, but how are we going to get
all aboard? Are you going to get on aboard? All aboard. Last call. Board the station.
No, like we're getting on a roller coaster.
We're still boarding. We're still boarding.
All right. On a roller coaster. Once it starts going, then you're like, yeah. But like when you're sitting there, if you are like, yeah, then you're a child or a moron.
We're boarding.
It is true. My kids, man, when you get on an airplane, they get so excited. They're like everybody's miserable on an airplane. And they're like, let's put the window up.
Yeah. And we're like, enough with the hype train for this Frontier flight.
Yeah, Frontier. All right, what do we got? Jack says, just watched my first Altitude Nuggets game in 2 years with a Vodka TV.
There we go,
Jack. I'm talking about.
You take that.
You $5.
You colluding ass Comcast bitches.
Yeah, take that.
We can go around you. You can go antitrust all you want. You can use capitalism to be evil, and eventually it's going to catch up with you.
I agree.
Fuck you,
even when this comes back, even if they do find a deal, I hope everybody just goes to Avaca TV. Our homies.
I hate Comcast.
Our homies, Avaca TV. I love it. All right, what do we got? Tyler says, my take on the bench players have said that JMyke and Cousins are the vocal leaders in the locker room. Seeing them in the same unit is great. Boogie is a per 36 monster, 19, 8, 6, 1, and 1 in 18 minutes. He is a per 36 monster, man. And this is a great players. It's actually very rare, and his career has taken this very unique route. Vince Carter did this. He's one of the only players to do this without major injury. He just went from being the superstar main guy to a sidekick to a bench player seamlessly. And when you are as talented as a superstar, but willing to be a per 36 monster, you're a huge asset. And I don't know if Boogie is going to be willing to do this for years to come, because I think in his mind he's like, I still got more in the tank. But this year, Denver took a chance on him, and he's proven it out. So.
I think he makes a great point about the vocal leader aspect, too.
Great point.
I mean, Boogie Cousins is by far the loudest person in the Nuggets locker room, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
And I think it's had a great impact. Like, I think it's been such a positive to have a guy who is just going to tell it how it is.
Yeah.
They needed that guy.
Yeah. Love it.
The only thing that I did not like about Boogie Cousins' game tonight is that he did not get one single technical foul.
I know. We thought he did.
We thought he did.
Yeah.
But he actually had a technical foul committed against
him. Yeah. Maybe the tide's turning.
I don't like it.
I'd be fine if people got texts against him. J-Rock says, Boogie and Bryn, Tim C, EOY, identity found, Boogie Nights, immaculate vibes, multiple championships. Let's scream it, Adam. I guess I was supposed to scream that. Hey, that was still great. It's hard to read these, man. It's really hard.
I know. That's why we love the most when you guys slide one in that Adam realizes is supposed to rhyme halfway through.
I thought that one maybe did, and then it turned out I was just supposed to be screaming it.
Just threw you off.
Yeah. All right, what else we got? Jared says, here are your guys' thoughts on how Nuggets find gems in all aspects. Boogie, Forbes, Gordon, Bones. Also 7-0 Gordon, 10-0 Boogie. Coincidence? I think not. All right, here's the thing, man. I was thinking about this the other day. Monte Morris has been a fantastic player. Don't listen to Bill Simmons. He's been a great player. Monte Morris, we don't talk about enough when we talk about the Tim Conley gems.
Yeah.
What was he, 51st or
50 in the 50s?
Yeah, in the 50th. Like, Monte Morris is now 6 years into his career, and he's a very good player.
Any person that wants to evoke the Tyler Lydon draft, henceforth, we declared this years ago, that is the Monte Morris draft.
That is the Monte Morris. Yeah. Honest to God, Monte Morris. So what did Denver take Lydon at? They had the 13th pick, and they traded back.
24.
Yeah, it was like 24.
To 24.
Right.
No, but if you just did the 13 players from that draft,
yes,
I'll bet you Monte Morris is in the top 13.
No question.
Yeah, he has to be there.
No question.
So you're right. It just happened to be that they got it in a different order, but
they got it in a different order, and they went ahead and fueled up one of their rivals. But all the same, all you can ever hope to do is get one quality player out of every draft, and Tim Connolly did it that time.
And I was also thinking about this, to go from Jeremy Grant to Aaron Gordon. Like, Jeremy Grant, you went out and got him. It was a great trade. It was a great acquisition. He leaves you in the dead of night, and you turn around and get Aaron Gordon the next season. Like, that's a hell of a move.
I love that he in the dead of night. It was free agency, but it was the did feel like the dead.
You get what I mean by that.
Like
it was the middle of the day. Actually,
yeah.
They're like, announced his departure. He's like, I'm leaving.
They're like, hey, Jeremy, we're ready to re-sign you. Oh, you've already signed with the Pistons?
That's so true. Actually.
Or just they open the door. Jeremy, are you sleeping? What? Everything's gone.
It's just pillows underneath the bed. Like,
that's how it was.
He burrowed out, right? Take down the poster. He burrowed out.
This show's so dumb. Astray says, the Nuggets fan from 76ers land here, happy with the win, but can we talk about how playing with Jokic has made AG and Boogie better as overall players? So glad for the bench. Now time to laugh at LA. I think with AG, there's no question about it. You know, Nuggets did right. They signed him to the money, so he didn't have to worry about stats or this or that. Like, he just gets to go out and play his game, and I love it. Boogie, I don't know if 10 games like Jokic has wore. What do you think? Is Boogie a better player because of playing with Jokic?
No, I think he is who he is, and he's been a good player.
Played exactly 0 minutes with Jokic also.
But he's observed Jokic.
But he's also, because he plays with Jokic, it means he then matches up against the bench of the other team. So he's better because he's playing lesser talent.
But he's been an all-star in this league. He hasn't added anything besides winning. That's the only thing that's been different right now.
You know what? I would be honestly. This is a hard question to ask because Boogie's such a prideful guy, and rightfully so. But I would be interested to ask him that question. Is there anything you've learned from playing with Jokic? Again, I don't know who's the right person to ask that question and get the right answer. But there's probably something if he were to give it to you. I just don't know if he would give you that answer. Jose says, first time ever a tech is called on a play that Boogie is involved in is not on Boogie. Has that ever happened before?
No.
Yeah, no.
We did all of the research.
Don't you remember Boogie was even looking at the ref like, what for?
Yeah. Like, no. I'm stunned he didn't get a tech on that play.
On him. On you, like, oh.
We did the same thing. We were like, oh, laughing. And then when it got turned, we started laughing again.
He missed the free throw.
And then he missed the
Yeah. He was so mad at the tech.
The laughter never stopped.
Never stopped. Casey says, this bench is going to be scary going into the playoffs. Something I don't think I'd ever say a few months ago.
Scary hours.
So true. Scary hours. It is true, man. It is a strength. A few weeks ago, here's one thing I'll say to pump the brakes just a little bit.
Of course.
If we go back and look, Boogie I think has now played 10 games. He's been a -6 times.
Yeah.
He's been a +4. Now, another part of saying this is he clearly looks more healthy. He missed a lot of bunnies early. He's still missing some bunnies.
His plus-minus is also going to be totally skewed by this game.
Oh, his overall plus-minus now is, like +15.
He's big in the positives because of this game.
But if you look at recent trends, +10 last game, +27 or something tonight. And honestly, the plus-minus doesn't tell the full story, but I don't want everybody thinking that he's been a +20 every single night. He's actually been.
No, this is the best version of the bench that we've seen. Granted, it comes against the lowest opposition, the lowest quality opposition. But is just his simple insertion into the bench unit makes it so that they would go from a -15 to like a -2, a -5, something that's like manageable. So when Jokic comes back in, he's like, all right, like I got to make up some ground, not like an impossible amount of ground.
I'm telling you, the Nuggets now, what did I tell you they are with Jokic in the lineup? Oh, man, his scoring average went down. 35 and 20, which is, again, the same they were last year. They were 35 and 20 through 55 games. They're 35 and 20 with Jokic in the lineup this year. The same. It's just insane. I'm telling you, it's wild. That does it. All right, let's go around the association.
Let's go.
So we'll go very quickly here because there are some. Oh man, what just happened? There are some important things. Now we are at the point in the season where we want to be checking box scores pretty regularly. The big one tonight. The Lakers get absolutely humiliated by the Pelicans, and this is important for a few reasons. One, there's honestly a world in which the Lakers fall out of the play-in. Saying that sounds so ridiculous, but the Lakers now, let's see, where are they at? 33 losses. The Trailblazers tonight now have 36, San Antonio 37. 3 games is still enough that I don't think it's going to happen, but look, that Lakers team, it was up on the TV. I've been following the timeline. I've been watching this. I'm not just saying this to be a troll. I'm not just saying this to be a troll.
But you're not saying it to not be a troll.
I am going to enjoy saying it, but I also 100% believe it, and it is a real opinion. LeBron James is really disappointing. Really disappointing. Because, look, can they win a championship? No. But guess what? Last year, Jamal Murray went down. Do you think Jokic thought they were going to win the championship? Do you know what he did? Played his ass off.
Yep.
Played his ass off and carried that team to their demise, knowing very well that they were going to have to fight and go bravely into that dark night.
What else does LeBron have to
prove?
He
already breach once more. What is the word?
Back into the frame once more, friends. But LeBron James already knows he's the GOAT. He already had that moment where he realized he's the greatest of all time. So he has nothing else left to prove.
I'm not even trying to be a hot take artist here. If I'm being serious, man, I can't separate this version of LeBron from all of his career. I understand it doesn't mean at his peak, his talent, this or that, but I'm just like, man, you don't see all-time greats just going out like this, man, with weak effort and getting pumped.
Yeah, they look like they're just he's melded in. It feels
he's melded in.
They're already talking about next year, and is there any type of division between him and the Lakers organization? And also, they got blown out like this to the Pelicans. So, what is the positives or the hope moving forward? They don't have Anthony Davis for, quite a while. LeBron James is only getting older, and everybody, is just packing it in on him. He's not a great shooter or anything, so it makes it difficult. They don't have the size. Westbrook is not it for that team. there is a reality that they don't make the playoffs. Like, seriously.
There's a big reality.
I want to live in that reality.
I think Rich Paul's already scheduled the next meeting with Jeannie Buss. It's
so
on the
dumb.
calendar for tomorrow morning.
Here's the funny thing about it. LeBron is so good at being the story, and like an All-Star weekend, he was the story, right? This or that. Part of me is like, does anybody actually care? If there was another meeting with Rich Paul and Jeannie, I'd be like, whatever. What do they talk about? I don't care. Like, they don't matter. Honestly, they don't matter. And here's the great part about it. They might miss the playoffs. They might not. You know what else might happen? At the very moment, they are lined up with the New Orleans Pelicans, who are led by Brandon Ingram, who is cast out from Lakerland for LeBron's purposes.
Justice.
And if they get matched up in a play-in game, I'm just telling you, I just want to see it.
Do you remember when Kendrick Perkins tweeted, he's like, I heard a lot of people telling me that Melo was done. Carry the hell on.
Oh, of course.
You know what? Let's carry it back. He's done, dude.
And Mark Spears was saying the same thing, by the way, a lot.
Yeah, he's like one game where he scored 20 points. They were like, I had a lot of smart people saying that Melo was done.
Oh, analytics people thought Melo wasn't going to be able to help a team.
He was actually blackballed, you guys.
The funniest was Avery Bradley. Do you remember when like Avery Bradley got traded and like he had like a great preseason game? He had a great, he went like 6 threes or something, and someone's like, the Blazers gave him up for nothing. He's like, yeah, because he sucks, and he happened to have one good, meaningless game.
You're like,
so
you're like, I gave that car away that I didn't work anymore for nothing.
Yeah,
also,
and it got somebody to work one time. Like, wow, just gave that one away. Huh?
Carry the hell on.
Sorry, we spent a little bit extra time on that one because it felt good, but it's also true. LeBron disappointed. The Warriors we have another super chat. Another one came in. It says it's official, boys. Lakers are tanking to draft Bron.
That's actually what the meeting with Jeannie Buss is about
real.
tomorrow.
Watches L.A.
Burns.
Oh, Burns. I thought it said bums.
Either way.
Another one. People just keep sending us to
go,
Serbia.
dude.
We're going straight
to Serbia.
We're going streaking
in Serbia.
Or we're going streaking in Serbia.
I was going to say, man, can you imagine being jailed in Serbia for streaking?
Locked up abroad?
Locked up abroad.
Dev's like, I'm out of the strip.
To children.
I wouldn't do that.
The Warriors,
native land.
The Warriors really screwed us, guys. They really screwed us. They were up big time on the Mavericks, and they got blown out in the fourth quarter, 33-13 to lose by 6. All they had to do is be blown out by 15. 14
terrible.
maybe.
So terrible.
Couldn't do it. So that one happens. Mavericks stay ahead of Denver. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I don't care. 6-5 doesn't matter. The Clippers barely beat the Rockets. That was a real barn burner. The Hornets lost to the Pistons. Man, the Pistons are playing spoiler. The Pistons have sucked all year. And now here it is after the All-Star break. They keep beating teams that are desperate for wins.
Yeah, not a good move from them, to be honest.
Not a good move at all. The Pacers beat the Celtics. Do you guys remember way back when, a week ago, the Celtics were the best team in basketball?
Like 3 days ago, bro.
They've lost like 3 games in a row now. Like, it's somehow the NBA is so weird this year. The Phoenix Suns, you guys, this game felt like it happened 2 days ago. It was this morning.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns lost Chris Paul, but you know what? He's not the reason that they've been great in the clutch.
No.
He's not. They have a well-rounded team full of great players. A
lot of cool heads. Cooler heads prevail.
Nuggets fans last year, they used that Jamal Murray as an excuse.
What a crutch,
all
dude.
Playoffs. They're like,
pathetic.
like he would have made any difference. But anyway, tonight, Chris Paul was out again. The Suns got a win over the Jazz. Oh, wait.
Stop
no, they didn't beat the Jazz. Jay Crowder instead just threw the ball to nobody. So somebody in like 8th row of the stands in the clutch time as they all stood around yelling at each other for what to do.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And they've now lost 2 in a row. So maybe Chris Paul actually was kind of important.
I still don't think so. I also don't think Jamal Murray was important. Everything is as it seems. You guys are right. Enjoy your time.
Enjoy your time. And then the last game, the 76ers beat the Knicks. It was actually a really good game till the very end. And good game as in it was a close game until the very end. The 76ers kind of dominated the fourth quarter. And Joel Embiid goes for 37 points, including 23 of 27 from the free throw line.
27 free throws.
The Nuggets have had 27 free throws, I think, 6 times this year as a team.
I think they had 27 free throws in the entire month of February.
Joel Embiid had 7 field goals made in the game and finished with 37 points. That's when you put it into context.
No threes.
No threes. He literally scored all of his baskets at the free throw line.
He had 37 points on an efficient 35% shooting.
One of the fouls that I seen, he hit the guy in the face with the ball, and they called the foul on the other guy. and then
I'm telling you guys, the Lakers they've imploded. They're no longer the evil empire. Daryl Morey 76ers to me are like an affront to basketball. I hate this team so much. I really do. I don't want to be sucked into it.
What's been fun to listen to and watch is Philly fans like yes, the 76ers are really good. They could win the championship this year, but Philly fans having to fake like they really love James Harden.
I know.
Has been so enjoyable to watch because it's going to turn eventually. Maybe not this year. Maybe they'll win it all this year, but you can only fake like you like James Harden for so long.
So true.
It's like the thing is that they are getting too. We'll see it's been 2 games, but if they continue to rely so heavily on foul shots, you don't get foul calls like that in the playoffs. That's been James Harden's downfall. Like I mean, whatever.
We'll find out. I just hate that team.
It's just not worth talking about.
It's definitely not. It started to burn my tongue.
Not even worth it.
Don't forget about our party bus March 26th. Also, don't forget tomorrow at 2:30, Serbian Corner with Miroslav and Voya. You're going to want to check that one out.
Yes.
And then we'll be back again on Tuesday with a brand new show. Some good stuff. I think we'll have a Nuggets practice on Tuesday, most likely. And it's always great to be at practice and kind of hear from the guys. And then the Nuggets obviously back Wednesday. This should be a really big week for us, guys. So it should be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for all of it. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. I think we're up to like 4.7. I want it to be 4.9 or 5.0. I really would appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me.
I promise I'll talk less if you give us a 5-star review.
Have a good one, everybody.